What's up, you guys? It's Steve here with your stimulus check update and stimulus package update. And while we wait for the Senate parliamentarian to determine if the current stimulus package of $1.9 trillion, that Joe Biden American Rescue Plan, is set to go through reconciliation as is, we've also heard that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is currently eyeing the next stimulus package. That's right, it's going to be an infrastructure package of, get this, $3 trillion additional dollars of stimulus. So I'm going to get you caught up on the latest that we currently know about this package. And also today, we heard from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. We're going to be looking at that video footage as she discusses that upcoming stimulus package for infrastructure and the status of the current one that has the stimulus checks, the unemployment, and all the provisions we've been waiting for. So I'm going to get you caught up on the latest as of today, February the 24th. But before we dive in, if you could do me a quick favor, it'll just take a second. If you like and appreciate these video updates, take a second to smash the like button. I would appreciate it. It helps out the channel. Like button, comments, and sharing these videos to anybody that might be interested. It helps me out. Thank you so much. And also, if you're not already a part of the viewing community here, the Ram fam, why don't you take a second to smash the subscribe button to stay up to date on everything rolling out, and turn on that notification bell so that way as soon as I upload, you can get notified right away. And if you don't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram as well at SteveRam3. I do my best to respond to as many questions here on YouTube, but Instagram is also a great way to get a hold of me as well. But you guys, let's go ahead and dive into this latest news that we have as of today regarding the current stimulus package and the infrastructure package of $3 trillion that's going to be coming here soon as well. All right, so first let's hear from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. Now, in the beginning, she's going to be discussing the current stimulus package and its status with the provisions, and then we're going to be hearing her discuss infrastructure that's going to be coming in the next stimulus package, and after, we're going to be diving into an article giving us a little bit more detail about that package. So let's go ahead and take a look.
And if I could, just one more. I mean, as you know, the UI benefits expire March 14th. Is there a backup plan if the COVID package doesn't pass Congress by that time?
Well, let me first say that the president is focused on moving this forward as quickly as possible because, as you noted, there is a timeline in the middle of March when millions of people would lose their benefits, and it's not everybody on that day, and there's a progression of it, but that is of great concern, and that is one of the reasons why there is significant urgency in moving this forward as quickly as possible. And as you also know, covering Congress, a backup plan, most scenarios would involve Congress. This is the best pathway to preventing millions of people from losing their benefits, and that's why we are hopeful that it will move quickly through the House, as we anticipate it will, and then quickly through the Senate, and we'll be able to get the rescue plan signed into law so that that is not an issue. Let me first say that the American Rescue Plan is the package that we hope we will have signed into law soon, that is going to provide relief that is targeted at the communities and the people and the families who have been hardest hit, from direct checks and payments to more money for vaccinations to get them out to communities that have been harder hit, to the reopening of schools that is certainly impacting many, many communities, including Black communities. Beyond that, obviously the president will consider a range of options, things that he talked about on the campaign trail to build the economy back better. That's not anything we have to preview or that's been finalized at this point in time, but our objective right now is to get the American Rescue Plan passed and to get that direct relief out to a range of communities.
And I understand $1,400 checks are one thing, but I guess down the road helping communities, people that have lost their jobs, training them for these jobs of the future. Is that something? Again,
Job retraining, helping the manufacturing sector, doing better with caregiving, improving our nation's infrastructure. These are all components of the president's agenda that he talked about on the campaign trail, and is certainly a blueprint for what he would like to do as president. But right now, we're just focused on the rescue plan, getting it passed, getting it through, getting that direct relief out, and then I expect we'll have more to say. He will have more to say after that is concluded. Go ahead, Kristen.
I'd like to ask you one on the minimum wage.
Sure.
One of the points of debate as it relates to the president's COVID relief package, would the president support anything below $15? For example, the proposal for an $11 minimum wage.
The president put $15 minimum wage, an increase in his package, because that's what he believes the increase should be. As you know, is working its way through a parliamentary process at this point in time. Hopefully we'll have more news on that in the coming days. But his support is for the $15 increase.
Senator Sanders has said there's no room for compromise. Does the president think there's room for compromise on that $15?
Well, the compromise will be between members of the Senate who may have disagreement on where the minimum wage should sit and what the process should be. But the first step is the Byrd rule, the Byrd bath. I just like to say that every day. And then members will, and we're certainly hopeful that that will conclude with the minimum wage being included in there, but that is up to the parliamentarian for that process to conclude. And then senators will have to debate what a final package looks like.
Just following up on Kirsten's on the minimum wage there, it sounds from your description of the negotiation underway now between House and Senate on the wording that the president would basically sign whatever comes out of conference here. That would be the implication of your statement, that he doesn't really have a choice on the minimum wage at this point. Is that what you meant to say?
That is not my implication. I hope that's not what other people took from what I said. But what I was conveying is that there's a process that this has to undergo, and it needs to move through the Senate parliamentary process. We don't even know where they're going to conclude on whether the minimum wage is in the package or not in the package. And certainly, and I'll leave the analysis to all of you, there would be many who would support it not being in the package, and there would be many who would oppose it not being in the package. We understand that. We know how a bill becomes a law. What I'm conveying is we're not going to get ahead of that process. And that
You're not saying the president won't sign it if it doesn't have a minimum wage provision?
I think we are not even at the stage. The president proposed an increase in the minimum wage in his package. That's what he wants to be in the final package. He also was in the Senate for 36 years and has great respect for the parliamentary process. We're going to see that through. Once that's concluded, we can all talk further about the next steps.
Does the president consider what happened in Texas last week, and we still have the after effects? Does he consider that to be a natural disaster or a man-made disaster? And how does that affect the policy response?
Well, again, there'll be a policy discussion, and I'm sure as we look ahead to delivering on the president's Build Back Better agenda, as you know, he's been a longtime fan of infrastructure. He loves infrastructure. It's one of the things that I'm sure we'll be talking about in the months ahead. And protecting our nation's critical infrastructure, which we all know is outdated. But we're not going to put new labels on it today. We're just going to focus on how we make sure people have drinking water, how people have, not in the cold, how families have a place to live, and we will have plenty of time to have a policy debate.
So there you guys have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as we heard her first discuss the current American Rescue Plan stimulus package. And you heard the question asked, what happens if it doesn't get passed in time before the March 14th deadline? What's the backup plan? And you heard her say that they believe that reconciliation is the process they're going to get this done by, and she didn't really give a backup plan, so let's hope that they get this done. Now, also, later on, we heard her discuss infrastructure and how this is going to be a big topic for months to come, and she said we're not going to be discussing it today, though, but in actuality, we're seeing articles coming up, so we are. So let's go ahead and dive into an article that's going to be discussing what's going to be coming in the next stimulus package that we're hearing is going to be $3 trillion. Let's take a look. Link in the description below to this article that says Schumer eyes infrastructure tech as next priorities for Democrats. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pointed to a massive infrastructure package and tech legislation as the next priorities of Democrats after they wrap up pandemic relief. Schumer, speaking to reporters, said the following: "Today on a caucus call, I directed the chairs and members of our relevant committees to start drafting a legislative package to outcompete China and create new American jobs." Schumer, who pledged that the bill would be bipartisan, said it would touch on strengthening the U.S. semiconductor manufacturing industry and building out 5G. In addition, Schumer is also turning his focus to what is likely to be the second bill that Democrats try to pass through reconciliation: infrastructure. He said we need a strong stimulus to get our long-term economy going. We need a strong stimulus that creates and builds jobs and pumps up the economy for a long period of time. The Build Back Better plan is something that I think we would turn to very soon after the American Rescue Plan is done. Democrats are eyeing $3 trillion for the infrastructure package, which Schumer said also needs to include worker training and would need to be green, a reference to climate proposals that are expected to be folded in. President Biden has outlined a massive plan that would include infrastructure, manufacturing, and combating climate change. To pass the bill without using reconciliation, a budget tool that allows some legislation to bypass any legislative filibusters, they would need 60 votes. But Schumer has long predicted that they would use the second reconciliation bill for infrastructure. We're looking at how we make the Build Back Better fit as much into reconciliation as we can, because we get 2 reconciliation motions, one for pandemic and then one probably for Build Back Better, he said during an MSNBC interview last month. So with that being said, it sounds like after Congress passes this current $1.9 trillion stimulus package known as the American Rescue Plan, they're then going to be turning their attention to an infrastructure plan of $3 trillion, which they're planning on also passing through the process of reconciliation. Now, right now, we're currently waiting to hear back from the Senate parliamentarian regarding the current stimulus package passing through reconciliation, and as soon as we hear, I'll be sure to let you guys know here on the channel. And if you'd like to know all the details of that bill, it's 591 pages long. I covered the Ways and Means Committee section right here in this video, and I discussed the checks, the unemployment, and the child tax rebate, and the provisions in that section. So be sure to check that out if you're interested. And I'm also uploading videos on investing, so be sure to check those out as well if you might be interested. And I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel. And if you made it this far in the video and you haven't already, take a second to smash the like button. If you like and appreciate these updates, I would appreciate it. It helps me out. And also hit the subscribe button and follow me on Instagram as well at SteveRam3. Well, you guys, I hope this reaches you well. Take care. God bless. I'll keep you up to date. This is Steve.